makes his final pitch and appeal to his voters. Get out and vote. Good morning, Kuhner country. I can't believe it. It's finally here. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I know many of you have, and the moment now has arrived. Today is November 5th, Election Day. It is a watershed moment in our nation's history. We are now at a crossroads. And as I've been saying repeatedly, and it bears saying at least one more time, this is the most important, consequential election, without a doubt. It's not even close, in our lifetime, and arguably the most important in our nation's history, with the possible exception of 1860. This is how important today's election is. And as things stand right now, I have made a prediction. I put it up on X last night. I urge everybody to go take a look at it. Tell me if you approve or disapprove. My handle is at the Kuhner Report. One word, at the Kuhner Report. Kuhn as in National ER. I believe President Donald J. Trump will be the next president of the United States. And here is my prediction. Donald Trump wins with 301 electoral college votes. As I said on X, and I'm going to repeat it now, of all the key battleground states, I believe Trump takes Arizona, he takes Nevada, he will take North Carolina, he will take Georgia, he will take Pennsylvania, he will take New Hampshire. I believe New Hampshire will fall to Donald Trump, and he will take Wisconsin. Keep your eye on Wisconsin. Democrats in private now are starting to say Wisconsin may be a lost cause, so Trump will shatter at least part of the blue wall. I am going to concede Michigan to Kamala Harris, and that she will eke out a victory, and I mean she wins it in quotation marks, i.e. not free and fair, but that the voting fraud machine in Michigan, especially Detroit, which is notorious, absolutely notorious, they may tilt the state in her favor. We shall see. But in the other states, without a doubt, it is now too big to rig. And last night, President Trump finished his historic presidential campaign. And it was a blood and guts campaign. He left it all, and I mean all, on the table. 4 massive mother rallies. First in North Carolina in the morning. Then he hit Reading, Pennsylvania. Then he went to speak to the steel workers in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then it concluded after midnight in Michigan, where a visibly tired Trump, having given everything he could possibly give, campaigning 18, 20, sometimes 22 hours a day, pushing him beyond his physical and mental and emotional limits, having fought off 2 impeachments, having fought off multiple federal and state indictments, having fought off a lawfare strategy, the FBI with guns blazing, raiding his home, the CIA, FBI, deep state setting him up and surveilling him and trying to frame him as an agent of Russia. His business under siege, his family threatened, shot at twice, 2 assassination attempts, 1 in the face. And there he was, at the end, at the final rally, in front of his supporters, MAGA voters, America First voters, patriots. And I just want you to listen. Trump enters the stage. This is his last rally of the entire campaign. It's going to be the last rally of his political career as a candidate. And I want you to listen to the reaction of the crowd. They know they are now watching history in the making. Roll cut to Mike. He himself admitted it was the love, the energy, the enthusiasm, the overwhelming support from all of his voters that kept him going through much of the campaign, pushing him to do more and more rallies every single day. He admitted it. He goes, no human could do the rallies that I did, but I did this because you kept me going. Your love for me, your support for me, your energy for me, your devotion, your commitment. And I said, we just got to keep going. One more rally and another rally and another rally. Now, just to give you the lay of the land as things stand this morning. Okay. And then I want to open up the phone lines. So by the next segment, I want to start taking calls. And the question is obvious. Do you believe Donald Trump will pull off the greatest political comeback in American history, arguably in world history? How do you feel about the election? Here we are on election day. Do you feel positive and optimistic, or do you fear the Democrats will steal it one more time? I want to hear from you. 617-266-6868 is the number. Trump now, this is their strategy. They believe that Pennsylvania is theirs. That's why he went and did two, not one, but two final rallies yesterday. And the contrast could not be clearer. Trump was there in Pittsburgh, PA, talking to countless steel workers, while Kamala Harris was doing a celebrity-studded event. There was Katy Perry. There were other celebrities, Hollywood elites. So as she's hobnobbing with the elites of our society, many of them, I kid you not, worth 400 million, 500 million, over $1 billion. Trump was with ordinary, hardworking, tax-paying Americans. And I think that sums up the campaign in a nutshell. Kamala Harris is for the globalist elites who are dangerously out of touch with the cost of living, with the cost of groceries, food, gas, crime, the border, this invasion of illegal immigrants, the real possibility of World War III taking place in Russia or Ukraine or in between Israel and Iran. They live in a bubble. Ordinary Americans like us, we live in reality on the ground. And that, I believe, is Trump's secret weapon, is that the people now are going to speak. We have taken it from this regime for 4 years. And now it is our time to give our verdict and our judgment. This for us, the deplorables, Nazis, fascists, racists, as Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton calls us, garbage, as Joe Biden calls us, to our wonderful wives and sisters and mothers and nieces and daughters, our weak and stupid women, as Mark Cuban calls us. This is now not just an election. It is a reckoning. It is a reckoning. And I'm seeing now a massive, massive, massive surge. Early voting is toppling all expectations. Republicans now are leading in early voting in most states. Now, Pennsylvania, if the trend continues, Kamala Harris will lose Pennsylvania. Arizona will fall to Trump. North Carolina will fall to Trump. Wisconsin will fall to Trump. On this alone, he will be president of the United States. My friends, I feel immensely confident. We are going to make it too big to rig. Are you?
This is all you really need to know. It's simple, not particularly beautiful as a statement, but very simple. It's Kamala broke it, I will fix it.
Yeah, baby. That was Donald Trump last night in Michigan. It was his final rally. It was past midnight. And look, as he said it, it's not the most elegant phrasing, but she broke it, I will fix it. And that's the kind of campaign he's run. I think it's been laser focused. He has pounded, and I mean pounded, the battleground states, barnstorming, blitzing up and down. Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. He's practically lived in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. He has really run an electoral college race, not a national popular vote race, and hopefully will pay big dividends for him when the polls close tonight at 8 o'clock. Now, the lines are jammed. I want to take calls. I want to take calls for the entire show. To me, this is your show today. This is your chance to talk about how you feel about the election. Do you feel good? Do you think Trump will win? Why? Do you think Trump will lose? Why? I want to hear from you. But I do want to play one more cut. And let me just say this. I think Trump ran a superhuman campaign. I'm not saying there weren't mistakes. Every campaign has mistakes. But it was a nearly flawless campaign. And he worked his ass off. There's just no one can say that this guy didn't leave it all on the floor. He gave it everything. And I mean everything he had. Frankly, Kamala, not so much. He outworked her. He outcampaigned her. He outhustled her. He outwilled her. He outdetermined her. She sat on her laurels. She ran a very lazy campaign, an incompetent campaign. It was riddled with gaffes, riddled with all kinds of mistakes. Here, to me, the one that's going to define this race is she deliberately refused to make a campaign stop in Michigan and instead turned around and went and did Saturday Night Live. She chose to hang around again with her Hollywood elite friends and admirers over the hardworking men and women of Michigan. So she deliberately skipped a rally, a very important rally in a pivotal battleground state, to go and hobnob and do an opening sketch, an opening scene with Maya Rudolph, who plays her on Saturday Night Live. That, to me, sums it all up. She's off Saturday Night Live. She's hobnobbing with Hollywood elites. She's at fundraisers. She's letting the media carry her water for her. She's letting social media influencers paying them millions of dollars to try to influence their people to vote for her. Trump pounded the pavement and did rally after rally, town hall after town hall. And I mean, he outworked her. He just ground and ground and ground this race on. And listen now to Trump, because I think he said it in North Carolina, he said it in Pennsylvania, but this time in Michigan with his voice raw, exhausted, past midnight, he says, I have the most important truth in the world I can tell you. Listen to what he says. And I want all of you today to listen to this. Please, I'm begging you. Roll cut 3, Mike.
With your vote tomorrow, we can fix every single problem our country faces and lead America, indeed the world, to new heights of glory. But indeed, think of that statement, how beautiful that is. New heights of glory, that's what's going to happen when we win the election and we're really, well, look, the ball's in our hand. All we have to do is get out the vote tomorrow. You get out the vote, they can't do anything about it, we win.
Please think about what he just said. He's right. If all of us go out and vote and bring a friend, bring a colleague, a family member, I don't care, bring people with us to the polls, they cannot steal this election. If we do our part, this country's destiny is in our hands. As Trump put it, the ball is in our hands. We can win it, but we have to go out and will it and vote. It's really now that simple. It's no longer in my hands. It's no longer in Trump's hands. Kuhner country, it's in your hands. Dave in Dunstable. Thanks for holding, Dave, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for taking the call.
My pleasure, Dave.
Jeff, this already is rigged. It's already not a free and fair election. Kamala Harris has no business even being the nominee. She's gotten 0 votes. So it's already corrupt. And they're talking like this is going to go on. We won't know who the president.
Dave, can you do me a big favor, my friend? Up against a hard break. I'm going to come right back to Dave. All I'm doing is taking calls, okay? So everybody hang on. I'm going to get to you. 617-266-6868. Your calls, I promise, next. 617-266-6868. It's election day, Kuhner country. Okay, let's go right back to Dave in Dunstable. He says, look, this baby was rigged from the beginning. They installed Kamala Harris in power. She never got a single vote to be the nominee for president of the United States for the Democratic Party. He's right. Please, Dave, pick up where you left off.
Okay, Jeff. So that's my point about that. And then they're talking on the news today that it's the race is neck and neck. 50% her, 50% Trump. And then they're saying it's so close we won't probably know the president till Friday. I mean, give me a break. That's so corrupt in itself. We should know who the president is tonight, midnight, 1 a.m, not 3-4 days from now. That's so they can manufacture votes. And we're going to do nothing about it, Jeff. We're not going to do a thing about it but complain.
Well, Dave, look, we don't know. I mean, we're jumping the gun. We don't know what's going to happen. I understand your concerns. I really do, Dave, and your fears. But we don't know if, the country's going to accept it if they steal it right under our nose. We don't know that. Look, the country is now voting. I can just tell you this, okay? Take it for what it's worth. Nate Silver, who's living, this is his business, his data, analysis, predictions, a liberal, diehard liberal, very anti-Trump, says that Trump is going to win. And he says that the polls, that they're deliberately putting a finger on the scale to try to make this race seem closer than what it is. And that Trump is going to win most likely either tonight or tomorrow. That they're just not going to be able to block this wave of support for Trump. Now, what I can tell you, Dave, is this. Take it for what it's worth. The Kamala campaign is very worried about Arizona. And they're not going to, I don't think they're going to be able to pull out Arizona. Internally now, there are many reports Democrats are panicking over Wisconsin. That, in fact, Mark Halperin, another liberal who's got very good sources within the Democratic Party, says that Democrats are now privately conceding they would quote unquote be shocked if Kamala can win Wisconsin. And Pennsylvania now, Trump has now built up a 600,000 vote lead in the early voting. That has never happened before. So unless you're talking about a record-breaking turnout in Pennsylvania, which for Kamala, which doesn't seem to be there, Pennsylvania, and that's the big one, is Pennsylvania. In a nutshell, I'm kind of oversimplifying it, obviously, but in a nutshell, who wins Pennsylvania wins the election. So you're looking at Trump now, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. He takes North Carolina, it's over. Forget all the other states, it's over. So anything can happen. They can steal it. They want to drag it out. Kamala's people, you're right, are saying it's going to take days and days and days to count. But if you're looking for an early knockout, and that's what Trump's people are looking for, if Arizona does what it's supposed to do, and Wisconsin does what it's supposed to do, and in particular Pennsylvania comes out and does what it's supposed to do, they can talk about counting votes till the cows come home. This thing can be over. So, and this is why Trump is not saying this. You know, this is not hot. If you want, I'll play you Kamala's cuts. Kamala is saying, I feel good. Kamala is saying, please go vote. Trump is telling people, no, we've got this. If you want, another analogy he's been using is, we've got the ball on the 2-yard line. Football analogy. We're there. We just got to punch it in. And the only way we can punch it in is if all of us vote. So what he's saying is, we've got so much, we're so overwhelming and swamping the polls. They will not be able to steal it this time. They're cheating, yes. They're engaged in fraud, yes. They're trying to rig it, yes. But sometimes it's just too much opposition. And that's what the Democrats now are staring at a tidal wave. So before we get into they steal it and then the country will accept it, and let's everybody vote and do their job, and then we'll see by tonight or tomorrow morning, and then we'll take it from there. But Dave, look, I'm telling you, I had a very good feeling about 2016. I've got a very good feeling right now. Look, this is everything you need to know. Kamala is nervous, very nervous. Trump is supremely confident. I mean, to me, it's a picture of two candidates, of two campaigns, and of two countries. Dave, thank you very much for that call. I really appreciate it. 617-266-6868. Now, look, I'm going to be very candid with all of you, okay? And this is my fear. And I'm spilling my guts out. I'm going to be honest with you like I'm in the confessional. Not holding anything back. Yesterday, I got two very disturbing emails. Two very disturbing emails. One from a listener in Massachusetts, the other one from a listener in New Hampshire. In Massachusetts, very nice lady. She emails me all the time. She's a avid listener, and very smart. She says, look, I'm voting for Trump, but my husband is so convinced that this thing is rigged that it's pointless for him to vote. And she goes, I try to say, come on, you got to at least vote. What it'll kill you to vote? Just vote. And he's like, nah, why should I bother? This thing is rigged. It's fixed. Kamala's going to win. There's nothing we can do. And so she says, now look, at a certain point, I have to stop because I'm going to lose my marriage. My marriage is not worth an election. You keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. But, and when I read this, I'm like, if we lose, this is why we lose. And then there was another one. This was a male listener who claims to be I'm just going by the email. I don't know, I can't verify if it's true. I'm just going by the email. He's a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. supporter, a libertarian-leaning independent who also loves Tulsi Gabbard. Now, this is what he said. I live right across the street from a polling station. He goes, I just can't get motivated enough to cross the street to vote for Trump. And even though the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire has endorsed Trump, even though Kennedy's going to have a big cabinet position under Trump, even though Tulsi Gabbard's going to have a big cabinet position under Trump, even though the cost of food is going to skyrocket under Kamala, and your what you pay at the pump, and your energy bill, and everything is going to cost you an arm and a leg. He says to me, "Can you convince me? Can you convince me to cross the street so I can cast the vote today?" It was yesterday, the email, so he said tomorrow, meaning today. And I'm thinking, are you, at this point, I've got to convince you? So, hey, look, buddy, if you like losing your shirt, if you like paying, double for energy and 30-40% more for food and, $3, $4 a gallon gas, and have the illegals completely invade and conquer your country, and God knows have World War III either with Russia or with Iran, buddy, I don't know what else to tell you, man. So that's two voters that told me, or one was a spouse, but I know about two voters, they're not going to vote. Now, that's what Trump is saying. The ball is in our hands. If we all vote, we win, because there's too many of us. But if this person stays home for that reason and this person stays home for that reason, well, guess what? Hello, communism. So in the end, we'll have nobody to blame but ourselves. Get out and vote, because I'm telling you, your life depends upon it. Heather in Rockland. Thanks for holding, Heather, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you today? Thanks for taking my call.
Very good, Heather.
I feel very good about today. I still keep saying divine intervention. I still believe that. I have believed it since the first attempt on his life. I believe it in my core, divine intervention, and the evidence out there, and all of the evidence. I listened to another talk show host very briefly last night, and I didn't know this, and it was very interesting what he said. You said basically the same thing about all the early voting, and he said that historically the Republicans never have the numbers in early voting that the Democrats usually do, and the Republicans are far surpassing the Democrats with the early voting. Now, I don't know how true. I mean, I don't know if I got that wrong, but I think that's what I heard him say last night. And then it made me feel good, because I have to tell you, yesterday I was a little bit, I don't know, I was feeling very blah yesterday, and I couldn't understand. And then I realized I'm like, yep, it's.
Heather, can you hang on? I want you to finish your thought. I want to take all of your calls, I promise. Heather was saying she was feeling a little bit down yesterday, but this morning she's feeling positive and optimistic and hopeful. Is that you? All of your calls next. 6:50 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, we lost Heather in Rockland. She dropped on us, but look, I can understand why she's feeling much better today. News broke late last night. Heavy social media influencer and podcaster, Joe Rogan, who has a huge following, especially of young men in their 20s and early 30s. Millions and millions of them, has now come out and endorsed Donald Trump. So it's giving him a huge boost right at the moment Trump most needs it, for that final push over the goal line. So look, all the energy, all the momentum, all the passion is now behind Donald Trump. I want you to listen to him now talking about the early voting, how it has shattered all expectations, how Republicans are coming out of the woodwork, people voting for the first time, Democrats crossing over, independents now pulling the lever. And now, for the first time, it's not the Democrats who have a huge lead in early voting. It is now Republicans. Listen now to Trump. This was in Reading, Pennsylvania, saying, as we head into the election today, we are leading in all early voting in every single key swing state. This election is in our hands. If we all vote and we finish strong, this baby is over. Roll cut 5A, Mike.
You know, we have a massive lead. I don't even like telling you that, to be honest with you. We have a massive lead. First time ever, a Republican was leading by a lot in early vote. It didn't happen. The Republicans would always be way behind. They believe in going on election day, so we're going to let you go on election day, right? But they waited till the end always. Democrats would always have hundreds of thousands of votes, and then you either catch them or you don't. You never know what's going to happen. But Republicans have never been in the lead, and not like this. It's a big number. So we have to just get at, the ball is in our hand. We're at the 2-yard line, maybe the 1-yard line, but it's in our hand, and we put it over that. It'll be the biggest event maybe in the history of our country. And let me tell you, it will be also something much more important than that. It's going to save our country, because our country is in trouble.
Amen. Amen, brother. As Larry pointed out to me on Messenger, the very same people who don't go out and vote. It's rigged. Give me a reason to vote. What's the reason to vote? I don't want to get off, I don't want to get my ass off the couch. I don't want to get my ass off the sofa. Why should I go bother? Those are the exact same people that, should they steal it from Trump, will say, you see, I told you so. I told you. We show up in massive, overwhelming numbers. The numbers that we have, this country is ours. We can take it back. Save it for us, our children, and our grandchildren. So come on, Kuhner country. Vote. Vote, vote, vote. David in Brookline. Thanks for holding, David, and welcome.
Morning, Jeff, and thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure.
It's completely uncanny. Almost every time the exact words I'm about to say, you say it right before I get to come on the air. So I'll make it six words. Vote, 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 and fight, fight, fight. If everybody listening, including in New Hampshire, votes and brings one friend, we'll also take New Hampshire. And Jeff, just a quick stream of consciousness, a couple of things. Do you remember a couple of years ago, you first alluded to the fact that we're an army out there, and what they want to make us think is that we're isolated and alone, but we're really not. I think that's very, very important, because I believe my opinion is it's going to be an overwhelming victory, and it is an army out there. And the last thing I wanted to say, Jeff, I think about this. What are the names that 2 points, and you made this earlier. I have never seen a candidate, and I've been watching politics for more years than I can believe. I've never seen a candidate work harder than President Trump, ever. It's really quite amazing what he's been through. The guy was shot in the head, and it didn't stop him. But I guess my final point, I kind of lost my train of thought, is that we are at the crossroads. We vote, and we have the country that we believe we have, and everybody does better, or it goes the other way, which I don't think will happen, will be very, very negative. But essentially, that's what I want to say there. Since I wasn't invited to Mar-a-Lago, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather be talking to than you and the Kuhner country.
God bless you, David. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. No, you're completely right. We are at a fork in the road. We're at a crossroads. And here's the choice. Do you want freedom, the Constitution, and a prosperous future, America as we've known it, for yourself, but especially for your children and grandchildren? Or do you want to go down the dark road of communism? Because that's what Comrade Kamala and her minions have in store for us. Make no mistake about it. Senator Mike Lee, he's no bomb thrower, linked to a story to John Kerry, Jean-Francois, who's going to have a lot of influence in a Kamala Harris administration, where he openly says, we're going to have to get rid of the First Amendment. We have to get rid of the First Amendment, but to do that, we need to win in November. And so Mike Lee is sounding the alarm, saying they want to destroy the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, of religion, of expression, of assembly, of our basic freedoms. Now, this is what they're telling us they're going to do in public. When someone is telling you what they're going to do, believe them. So, and again, what does it cost you to vote? This is what I find incredible. Like, it's rigged. Well, go out and vote. So what's it to you, man? What have you got going on that is so freaking important that it's more important than voting? Really, what? So go out and vote. And if everybody votes, then if they do steal it from us, we can say we'll catch them. That's the other thing. If we overwhelm them at the polls and they try to steal this, the theft will be naked, blatant, and obvious. So the more we go out to the polls, the more we guarantee they won't be able to steal it. So again, for God's sake, vote. As Trump said, get off your ass and vote. I mean, you want your country or not? Heather in Rockland. Thanks for holding, Heather. We got you back.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead, Heather. So you were feeling down, but now you're feeling better. Why?
I'm feeling better because I feel, when I was watching, I fell asleep to watching Trump's Pittsburgh rally last night. I watched the last one later. And I was just watching him, and I'm like, how is this guy, still going? The energy, let me tell you, I'm a lot younger than him, and I couldn't go work the way he does. I could not do that many rallies. And the guy's probably had no sleep in months. I just don't know how he does it. And he's doing it all for us. And I realized that. I said, he's like a Superman. I swear to God. You can't say that any other, political figure or whatever you want to say has worked as hard as this man has done for us. And not only that, he has brought people together. I'm going to say, I have tears in my eyes right now. I can't believe this. I met such wonderful, wonderful people at the Front Street Bridge in Weymouth. And I would never have met any of those people like Holly, Annie, Megan, Lady Di. I haven't met Tony in Florida. He was on yesterday, but I conversed with him over email. John, Marianne, there's so many people that just wonderful people at that bridge that I've met, and it would never have been if it wasn't for him.
Well, that's what it is. It's a community. It's the real America, the historic America, the traditional America. That's what we are. We're a movement. We're a nation. We're a people. That's what we are. And we love our country. We love our history. We love our heritage. We love our traditions. We love our freedoms. We love our Constitution. We love our sacred Bill of Rights. We love our God. We love our family. We love our neighbors. And we just want to keep our country great and make it great again. That's all we want. And I'm telling you, the safest, nicest place you can ever go to is a Trump rally. Everybody's polite, cordial, friendly. People are having fun. You can bring your children. You can bring anybody. You can bring the elderly. You can bring everybody. What I watch on the media, again, I keep saying this over and over again, I don't recognize what they're putting up there. It's like when the New York Times did a front page hit piece on me. I'm like, I don't recognize myself. Like, really, I'm telling you, I don't know. They say it's Jeffrey Kuhner. I don't know who this guy is. So, and they do that all the time. Here, the Boston Herald, the way they tried to smear me. And you know why? Because of you know who. And, you know, I'm like, I don't recognize this monster that they're trying to portray. I mean, that's how despicable the media is. But I'm telling you, what you're saying, Heather, is exactly what every Trump supporter feels when they go to one of these rallies or when they just hang out among each other. It's like, my people, oh my God, they're just like me. Good, decent, hardworking, tax-paying people. Patriots. It's really that easy. All races, young, old, men, women, gay, straight. Watch. Tonight, watch. He is going to put together the most diverse majority political coalition in the history of the United States. Mark my words. He's going to shatter the record for how many people vote for a president of the United States. Black men are voting for him in big numbers. Latinos are voting for him in big numbers. Asians, Jews. He's got Muslims and Arabs now leading the charge. Arab Americans in Michigan. So you look at this coalition. The elderly are going to vote for him. Young people, young men, thanks to Joe Rogan. You watch now how they're going to come out of the woodwork. So you look at this coalition and you're going to say it's the most impressive. Here, to use the left's words, the most inclusive, diverse, impressive, majority working class political coalition in American history. It's going to rival and I believe eclipse what FDR did with the New Deal. So what we're watching now, everybody, if we all just go out and vote, is history in the making. The way we read about FDR and the New Deal and how he changed American politics and sent the Republicans into the political wilderness for an entire generation. That's what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are on the cusp of doing. And this is why Trump is urging everybody. I'm urging everybody. Don't blame anybody but yourself if you don't vote. If everybody votes, listen to what I'm saying. If we all vote, we win. The ball, they don't have the ball. We have the ball. We've marched down the field. Okay, think of the campaign as a drive. We've driven all the way down the field. Today is election day. It's fish or cut bait. We're on the 1 yard line. Take that ball and punch it in. Touchdown. This thing is over. So if everybody, I'm going to go vote. I'm bringing Grace. I'm bringing other people with me. I'm bringing a pack of voters. Now, I'm not saying we're going to take Massachusetts. I don't care. We're going to make a statement here in Massachusetts. Even in deep, dark Massachusetts, MAGA is alive and well. Trump country is alive and well. Because Trump's going to win the popular vote. He's not just winning the Electoral College vote. He's going to win the popular vote. If we all show up, it's good night, Irene. Now, if many people stay home, then look at yourself in the mirror. And honestly, I don't know how you can live with yourself. So it's really, honestly, never an election in my life has anything been as simple as this. Vote, we save our country. Don't vote, hello communism. Now, what do I think is going to happen? 301 Electoral College votes. Trump wins the popular vote by about 1%. Maybe 0.8, 0.9, 1, 1.1, somewhere around there. But it's going to be 1% popular vote. But in the Electoral College, it's going to be 300 votes, baby. This thing is over. Thank you for that call, Heather. James in the great state of Virginia. Thanks for holding, James, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeffrey. How you doing?
Very good. Positive, upbeat, hopeful. happy. I can't wait till tonight. I just want the polls to close and start counting, baby.
I feel the same way. Jeffrey, what I'm calling about is I'm a retired Marine with 30 years in and 10 combat tours. And what I'm calling about for all your listeners across the country, all my fellow veterans, brothers and sisters, to get out there and vote. Vote. Don't think anything. Get out there and vote. And I just want to say that you can't take anything for advantage. I mean, I understand he's up and everything else, but we have to act like we're down. We still have to act like we're the underdog. And the point is that getting out and vote. And I've known people that have died for this country, and we owe it to them to go out there and vote for them. And
well said. James, honestly, very, very well said. And look, we owe it to all those who fought and died for our country, because our freedoms are on the line. Our Constitution, our Republic, our Bill of Rights, it's all on the line. And we owe it to them. We have a moral, sacred duty to go out and vote. And James, listen, I want to thank you for your service. You have no idea how much I love you guys. From the bottom of my heart, I love all of you. In a non-sexual way, obviously, but I really do love all of you. And look, let me just say one more thing, okay? This needs to be said. For 4 years, we have been insulted, smeared, vilified, libeled, demonized, mocked, persecuted. This vote is not just a vote for ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. This vote, I'm sorry, but that's also what it is. It's a middle finger to the Biden-Harris regime, to the entire swamp and the ruling class, to the media, to everyone, the elites who loathe us and despise us. This is our protest to them. You want to know what we think of you? Here it is. Here's our vote. Right here, baby. Mwah. Kiss it. Kiss that middle finger. Mwah. That's what this is. For 4 years, we have heard from them. Today, they're going to hear from us. Eric in Rentham. Thanks for holding, Eric, and welcome.
Thank you, Kuhner, man.
Eric, my fellow paisan.
Kuhner, man. I just wanted to say we need to get out and vote, and we need to start taking this country back from all the damage that grifter Obama did.
Oh, I'm with you, Eric. Eric, have you voted already, or are you planning to vote today?
Planning to go right after work.
Right after work? You know what? Yeah. You and I are probably, who knows? We could probably meet up. We'll probably be at the same building voting. Eric, are you going to vote for Vaughn, State Rep Vaughn?
I am.
Yeah, me too. He's a very good man. I like him. He's a black conservative, good heart. He's not corrupt. He's an honest guy. He's a straight shooter. I think he's got a very bright future in Massachusetts Republican politics. And every time he runs, it's a squeaker. And I hope we can put him over the top, Eric. Eric, buddy, before I let you go, my fellow paisan from Rentham, what's your sense? What does your gut tell you? Are you confident that Trump is going to win, or do you fear that they're going to steal it?
I'm confident they're going to win, but I will say I have a slither of doubt there that they're going to try and steal like they did in 2020. Can't put it past them for this.
So basically, you're saying you have a little uneasiness in your stomach, right? There's just a little nervousness. You got butterflies. You're a little, you never underestimate the Democrats, correct?
They, you know how they roll.
Yeah, well, we all know how they roll. I'm with you, Eric. No, that's my sister-in-law, Lori. So, in fact, we were going through, our predictions last night. And I came out very strong. I said, I'm telling you, 300 electoral college votes. I even told them all the states. Yes, he wins the popular vote. Trump does as well. And that was my prediction. Lori was with me. She thinks Trump is going to win. Not as much in the Electoral College or the popular vote. She thinks it will be closer. She says, though, she's nervous about the steal. She's going with Trump, but she's uneasy. My wonderful wife, my better half, Grace, said Kamala is going to win. She's going to get over 300 in the Electoral College, and they're going to announce the results for her tonight. Why? She says they are going to steal it 6 ways to Sunday. 7:31 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, a lot of information now is coming into the Kuhner Man. I'm going to keep all of you updated throughout the show. As I said, I want to take as many calls today as possible. All right, this is from Manny Ribeiro, a dear friend of mine, a veteran. Served in the first Iraq Gulf War. No excuses. He sent me a picture of, I feel bad for the guy. He's in a cast. Jeff, no excuses. I just had reconstructive surgery on my ankle, and I'm still voting in person. Like I said before, our future is too important to stay home. Have a great show. God bless America. No, God bless you, Manny. I love you, vets. Okay, so apparently now in New Hampshire, and I want everybody just keep an eye out on this. Manny just sent me or forwarded me a picture of a ballot in which they're starting to find a little black dot in the Kamala Harris box. And I clearly see it in the picture that they've sent me. You've got Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, then you've got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Nicole Shanahan. They kept them on the ballot. But clearly, the box that says Kamala D. Harris, Tim Walz, has a little black dot. Now, this is the issue that many are raising. If you vote Trump because of these voting machines, it's going to read both boxes as marked and it will be void. So if you see a black dot on your ballot, inspect your ballot. You take a picture and you ask for another. Now, my bad. This was not New Hampshire. Forgive me. My mistake. This was from Kentucky. But they're saying it can happen anywhere. And they're really worried about the battleground states, New Hampshire being a key battleground state. So this came from Kentucky. But they're saying, be careful. They're noticing these shenanigans, dirty tricks by the Democrats. And so they're saying, when you go vote, check the ballot. Make sure there is no little black dot in the Kamala Harris box. Because even if you check off Trump, the machine's going to read both and then declare them void. So what you do is you take a picture. Here's your proof. You have it. And then say, I'm sorry, this is a spoiled ballot. The little black dot should not be there. Give me another ballot. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, this is from 603. Jeff, I just wanted to let you know, my mom is 82 years old and can barely walk. I am going to pick her up after work, and if I have to put her on my back and carry her to the polls to vote, I will. My parents are 82 years old and getting out to vote, so for anyone else to have a lame excuse that they can't get off the couch, it's pretty pathetic. Save our country, get out, and vote with 4 exclamation points. Yes, I'm 1,000% agreeing with you, 603. Very quickly, many of you on Messenger are telling the Kuhner Man, Jeff, vote, vote, vote equals fight, fight, fight. This is our fight symbol. Vote. Ginger Betty. Thanks for holding, Ginger Betty, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Happy Election Day,
Happy Election Day, Ginger Betty. Now, you've been doing a poll. Everybody wants to know the results. Who won the Ginger Betty cookie poll?
Oh, my God, by a landslide. Ginger Donald is to be declared our cookie commander-in-chief. OMG. Yeah, we have about 600 and some odd for Ginger Donald, and Cookie Kamala came in at 86.
Well, that's incredible. Now, Ginger Betty, I hear from Sandy, you're on the road right now and you're heading somewhere special. Where are you heading to, Ginger Betty?
Oh, my goodness. I am on a top secret mission to Trump Tower to deliver the first ever rolled out presidential pops. There are ginger snap with chocolate, a gold top, an American flag, and some red, white, and blue sprinkles.
That's incredible. So Ginger Betty is delivering cookies, lollipops to Trump Tower. She's going to cater it for the President of the United States tonight at his victory party. Congratulations, Ginger Betty. 7:32 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer, 617-266-6868. All right, Kuhner country, it's election day, baby. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. All right, many of you now are reporting huge lines. A good friend of mine in Sudbury, he's voting in Sudbury. He said, Jeff, large crowd, in towns, cities, all across Massachusetts, up in New Hampshire. A lot of people are saying, Jeff, there may have been heavy early voting, but people are coming out today in huge numbers. So what are you seeing at the polls? Are you seeing large crowds? Are you seeing long lines? What's the sense that you get as you cast your ballot? And furthermore, how do you feel overall about the election? Are you hopeful and optimistic like the Kuhner man that we're going to have a great victory tonight? Or are you more like my wonderful wife, Grace, who says Trump ran a great campaign? It's nothing to do with his campaign or his messaging, but she is convinced the Democrats will steal it and will steal it big. In fact, she's so convinced, she says, watch, they'll announce the results tonight that Kamala is the winner. How do you feel about that? Agree? Disagree? 617-266-6868. This is from 774. Jeff, I live in South Coast, Massachusetts. My daughter's third grade class held an election yesterday, and Trump won. He was elected 11-7. So there's hope for Gen Z after all. And by the way, Jeff, our town is notoriously blue as well. So, you know, even the munchkins, even the little kids are voting for Trump. By the way, many of you are pointing out rightly on Messenger, Jeff, don't forget the Amish, which is true. In Pennsylvania, in Ohio, 80, 90, 100,000 of them are coming out strong. Every single, to a man and woman, they're voting Trump. So we're watching now really one of the most impressive, diverse political coalitions now being constructed right in front of our eyes. Chuck in East Boston. Thanks for holding, Chuck, and welcome.
Hey, how are you, Jeff?
Very good. How are you, Chuck?
Good, buddy. You're my fellow trash bag, my friend.
My fellow piece of garbage. How are you?
Good. Listen, as far as voting for, do it for your country, man. Especially these independent voters that can't decide. They have the piece of paper in front of them. They can't decide. Just look at what we have going on right now and look what we had. It's very simple, cut and dry. And what I'm trying to say is, if it's going to be a quick win tonight, it's going to be Trump. If they're going to prolong it, they're going to say it's going to be Harris.
That's interesting, Chuck. Look, I think that's my sense as well. If they look, it's obvious what the Democrat strategy is. Delay, delay, delay. Keep counting until they can, quote unquote, find enough votes to steal enough of these battleground states to put Kamala over the top. And I think what Trump wants is a early decisive knockout. And the reason why I'm optimistic, Chuck, is I think his lead in Arizona is insurmountable. I think the early voting in Nevada is going to make it almost impossible for the Democrats to catch Trump. So right away with Arizona and Nevada, he's got a big edge. North Carolina, they couldn't stop Hurricane Helene victims from voting. So he's got a good edge there. Pennsylvania, if the turnout continues, Chuck, this could be one of the most spectacular victories in American political history. So I'm telling you right there. I mean, we're just, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, and this thing is over. So they can play games in Fulton County and Atlanta. They can play games in Detroit, Michigan. They can play games in Wisconsin and Milwaukee. They can play games in New Hampshire with the voting machines. But if things go the way they're supposed to go, if everybody does their job, as Bill Belichick used to say, just do your job. Don't worry about the big picture. Just if everybody does their job, we win. If everybody votes, this thing's over. I mean, it could be a lightning strike. This thing could be over tonight, maybe tomorrow morning at the absolute latest. Say, North Carolina. Look, North Carolina says they'll have results by 1, 2 in the morning. Arizona and Nevada are saying you can have results by 1, 2 in the morning. And Pennsylvania, it just now may be too big to rig. Now, we have to see what turnout is right now in Pennsylvania. Chuck, I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but the Philadelphia suburbs are turning out big for Trump. Big. If she can't hold Philadelphia, she's finished. And what's stunning the Democrats is how many black men in Pennsylvania are coming out for Trump and how low the voter turnout is among blacks in general in Pennsylvania. It's not that they're coming out and voting. The black men are voting for Trump, but black women, there's just no enthusiasm for Kamala. So now, unless, in the next 8 hours, you see them, popping out of the woodwork and voting like crazy in Pennsylvania. But if this trend holds up, this thing could be over. So, and look, Chuck, people ask me, what's Trump's simplest path to victory? It's very simple. To get to 270, all you need is 270 electoral college votes. The simplest path, PA, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina. That's it. He can lose everything else, and he still wins. So we're very close, Chuck. That's why Trump was choosing his words carefully. If you know football, we're basically on the 2-1 yard line. All we got to do now is put this baby over the top, and this thing is done. So, let's get down there and let's do it. Chuck, final word to you.
Just wanted to say, I'm voting for Hitler. We're all gonna get crashed tonight after he wins, and tomorrow, Jeff, we're gonna be all glad bags. Are you a glad bag? I'm a glad bag.
Oh, Chuck, I love it. You know what? If Trump wins tonight, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but sorry, I can't help myself. If Trump wins tonight, let's all go into work wearing a trash bag. Wouldn't that be super cool? All of us, just wear a trash bag. You make room for your head. You just put it like a raincoat, like raincoat style, and just walk in and say, hey, the garbage people, we did it. Chuck, God bless you, my friend. 617-266-6868. The deplorables, the Nazis. We did it. Honestly, look, fingers crossed. They're already starting to melt down. I got some clips I can play. They're freaking out in cafes, these liberals. They're freaking out on the street. They're seeing anybody with a Trump cap or a Trump button. They're losing their minds. Pete Buttigieg came on Fox News about an hour ago. He looks like he's part of a defeated army. You can just tell on their faces. It's glum. They're depressed. They're not happy. So far, things are not going the way they were predicting it was going to go. Mark in Medford. Thanks for holding, Mark, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff, and happy election day to you, my friend.
Happy election day, my friend.
Now, Jeff, before I say what I want to say, I've been hearing from a couple of people right now, and I don't know how true this is, but is Trump, I mean, I know there's 81 million people did early voting, and that's a record. So I don't know if they're counting early votes, but is Trump actually leading in Massachusetts? See, and you brought up Massachusetts a little while ago. Is he actually leading in Massachusetts? Because that's what I am hearing.
Oh, I don't know, Mark. I can't say. I think he's going to surpass expectations in Massachusetts. I think people are going to be shocked how many votes he gets. And I think it's going to send a real powerful signal to the rhinos and the establishment Republicans. Look what a real independent, pro-working class, America First Republican, how well he can do even in a blue state like Massachusetts. I mean, I don't want to jump the gun, Mark, but I'm telling you, watch. I'm not saying he's going to win Mass. I'm not saying that. This is a liberal stronghold. Okay, these moonbats here are crazy. But, Mark, I'm telling you, he's going to shock people. It's going to be closer than what people think. Mark, what say you?
For a living, Jeff, and all I see, and I see a lot more Trump Vance signs than I'm seeing Harris wall signs. Okay, I'm seeing pickup trucks with American flags and Trump flags on them driving by as we speak. Jeff, 2 of them just drove by me as we speak in Chelsea. I'm in Chelsea. 2 of them just drove by me. Now, I just have a message for everybody. Today is the day, Jeff, that the American people decide the fate of this country, and I'm talking the real American people, the
citizens. The American citizens. This is our day. Today we render our judgment, our verdict, and we assert our right to take our country back. Vote, vote, vote. 7:50 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, liberalism's worst nightmare, baby. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, this is from 703. Jeff, don't forget to turn your clocks back to 2% interest rates and $1.80 gas on Tuesday. Now I got to say this. Many of you have been messaging the Kuhner Man and emailing the Kuhner Man, both, saying, Jeff, what you got to tell the audience, please tell Kuhner Country, after you cast your ballot today, go buy some groceries or go put gas in your car or whatever, and then take a picture of the receipt and hold it. Just keep that picture and then compare it a year later. And you're going to see a massive difference. In other words, if Trump wins, right? Obviously, when Trump wins. In other words, this is what gas cost on election day under Harris Biden. And then 1 year later, this is what gas costs today. A hell of a lot lower. Or, this is what bread costs, or this is what milk costs, or what eggs cost, or, whatever. And it's going to, oh my God, boy, the price went down by half. How did Donald Trump do it? Drill, baby, drill. Unleash energy production. That'll drive everything down. Stop the out-of-control spending. Stop printing money. Stop inflation. Secure the border. Stop the onslaught of illegals pouring into our country, driving down wages, stealing jobs, taking away much-needed housing and rental resources. So rents aren't so expensive. Housing isn't so expensive. Really, it's not rocket science. Listen now to President Trump. This was him in Reading, Pennsylvania. And he's saying, look, we're 1 day away. This was yesterday. 1 day away from the most important election maybe in American history. And I've got one simple favor to ask of all of you. We can solve all our problems. We can turn our country around so fast it'll make your head spin. We can usher in a new golden age. But you've all got to do just one simple thing. Roll cut 5, Mike.
Just one day away. Oh, we've been waiting for this. I've been waiting 4 years for this. And so have you. And so have you. We've all been waiting 4 years. One day, you gotta show up. I don't want any money. I don't want anything. Just show up and bring your vote. And if you have somebody else that got a little lazy, bring that person too. Say, Jim, you gotta get off the damn couch. Come on. We gotta make America great again, Jim. We're just one day away from what will be the most important political event in the history of our country. But you have to get out. We have to vote. Just show up and vote. I'd love to. Really, what we should do is swamp them. Just swamp them tomorrow.
Amen, brother. Amen. Now, very, very quickly, okay? This is already, he's already talking like the commander-in-chief. Already, all right? Now, I just want to play this. You don't think he's going to secure the border? You don't think he's going to stop this illegal immigrant invasion dead in its tracks? This is Trump yesterday in Raleigh, North Carolina. And as you know, there is a new anti-American leftist president in Mexico. And this new leftist president is saying, we're going to let all the migrants come through our country and we're going to let them pour into the United States. And Kamala Harris, by the way, has now come out and doubled down, saying, just like under Joe Biden and like when I was border czar, you send us 10 million, we'll take in 10 more million. 20 million, we'll take in 20 million. 30 million, 30 million. She is vowing to continue this insane open borders, unlimited illegal immigration policy. Okay? In other words, the path to suicide. The suicide of a superpower. That's what a vote for Kamala Harris effectively means. And Mexico is enabling this to happen. Listen to Trump. Roll cut 6, Mike.
Now we have a new president in Mexico. Supposed a very nice woman. They say I haven't met her. And I'm going to inform her on day one or sooner that if they don't stop this onslaught of criminals and drugs coming into our country, I'm going to immediately impose a 25% tariff on everything they send in to the United States of America.
There you go. Oh, that'll stop it. Oh, believe me, she'll do a 180. Oh, she'll turn on a dime. It'll make everybody's head spin. Did I say we're going to pour No, we're not pouring No, I meant we're going to keep out the migrants. No, Mr. El Presidente. You misunderstood me. It's going to be bold, vigorous leadership on day one. The border, check. Third world illegal immigration, check. Mass deportations, check. Low inflation, check. Energy independence, check. Low crime, check. A booming economy, check. More take-home pay for middle working class people, check. No men in women's sports and locker rooms, check. No more mutilation of children's body parts for so-called gender reassignment surgery, check. The war in Ukraine over, peace, check. The war in the Middle East, Iran in a box, check. China contained, check. Happy days are right around the corner. All we got to do now is vote. Joe in South Boston. Thanks for holding, Joe, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Thank you for everything you're doing. You are doing God's work.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
He is going to save our country and the world. And Donald Trump is leading the way. And you're right behind him, buddy. I am very confident of us winning the election. I am just worried about the court case that's going to come up November 26th. And if they convict him, they're going to try and make sure he isn't certified for the presidency. What do you think?
Well, Joe, look, I think this is why I want, Sandy and I were literally talking about this off air last break. And this is what Sandy said to me. She goes, look, Jeff, this is how I feel about the election. If anybody is going to win by a razor thin margin, it'll be Kamala. And that means they're going to count and count and count, and they're going to try to steal it here and steal it there. And, in the middle of the night in Detroit and in Milwaukee and in Philadelphia and in Atlanta. But she says she's not winning by a landslide. There's no way. The one that's going to win by a landslide, if anyone wins, and I agree with her, it's going to be Trump. Maybe not so much in the popular vote, but definitely in the electoral college. And this was her argument in relation to your point. We need a decisive victory. We need a decisive knockout. We need a massive, overwhelming mandate. Not just for Trump, which is obviously very important, but we need a repudiation of the left, of lawfare, of their persecution of him, of the entire democratic corrupt regime, of the ruling class, of their use of the courts to weaponize the justice system to go after their political opponents. And if we can send that powerful message, and by the way, I think it'll stop a lot of the violence that the left is threatening and this nonsense about not certifying him. So a big election victory tonight takes care of a lot of problems. There's just no question. And so that's really what we have to focus on, Joe, because you can't answer, we'll get to that bridge, when we get to that bridge, we'll figure it out when we get there. We don't know what will happen in November. November 25th is going to be the sentencing until we know what happens today. Today will set up everything that comes after. And a huge, overwhelming, decisive victory by Trump will neutralize much of the political left. Now, they're going to try to impeach him, but if we carry the House and carry the Senate, they can't stop him. So again, everything depends on what we do today. If we win big, it's over. If we win small, Trump may be vulnerable. If Kamala wins small, Trump is in big trouble. And it was in Pittsburgh where he really, maybe it's because of fatigue, he was tired, running on fumes, doing 20-hour days, day after day after day after day. But he basically said, he bore his soul. He was like, I just want you to know, if I lose, I'm probably going to go to jail. They're going to get me. And it could be for the rest of my life. They're going to destroy everything I've built. They're going to hound my family. My family may even end up going to jail. In other words, this is not going to end well for me or my family. And I want you to know I've put it all on the line for you. So he's basically was telling everybody in the room. And then he said, look, and they're not going to stop with me. Don't think it ends with me. It's going to be a brutal crackdown. They're going to go after the First Amendment. They're going to go after high-profile people in the media that oppose them. They're going to start putting more people in jail as they did with the January 6ers. It's not just going to be Donald Trump and Don Jr. and Eric Trump and Melania and Barron and, the whole Trump clan. He goes, no, they're coming after a lot of people, including many of you. And they've got 87,000 IRS agents. That's their Gestapo. You're going to be audited and you're going to be financially destroyed. So he really bore his soul. And so he said, look, our only way out is an overwhelming, decisive victory. And if we deliver that, our country's problems will be solved. But if we don't, then this country, all of us in this room, over half the country that voted for me, we're going to be in big trouble. Joe, he's right. And that's why, to be honest, I'm just shocked. I keep getting text messages, emails, not many. It's one here, two there. But, I'm not going to vote. It's rigged, Jeff. Jeff, the steal is in. There's nothing we can do. What's the point, Jeff? My life won't get much better anyway, Jeff. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. As Trump said in North Carolina, he asked Reagan's question, his famous question when Reagan challenged Carter in 1980. Are you better off now, or were you better off 4 years ago? Now, I'm telling you, I was infinitely better off 4 years ago. There's no question. My family was better off. My neighbors were better off. Everybody I know was better off. Food was much cheaper. Gas was much cheaper. My energy bill was much cheaper. My car insurance was much cheaper. I mean, I'm not talking crime, illegal immigration. I'm not, possibility of World War III with Russia or Iran. Okay. Let all that go. I'm just talking about everyday living for Jeff Kuhner. My life was infinitely better. There's no comparison. So, okay. I mean, you like to pay more for everything? Go ahead. You like to be poorer? Go ahead. You like to see your standard of living go up in smoke? Go ahead. You want to live in the United States of Venezuela? Go ahead. I mean, I don't know what to. After a certain point, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. So, okay. And I'm telling you, Joe, from the bottom of my heart, now, I'm going to go after the Democrats and their cheating and their voter fraud. You know me. I'm going to give no quarter. I'm going to expose everything. So, of course, I'm going to blame them. But I'm also going to be honest with all of you. If we lose, and I don't think we will, I'm telling you we're going to win. But if we lose, I'm blaming these people who stay home and don't vote. Because really, Trump is not BSing us. He's not. They look at the internal polls. They look at the early voting. They can see what's going on. And they say, if our people just show up and vote, that's it. We win. Like they can't stop us. They can't steal that many votes. They can't. They just can't. Now, if people don't want to show up, people don't want to get off their rear end, as he puts it, get Jim off the couch, then I don't know what to tell you. After a while, I can't fight for you. You got to fight for yourself. And Joe, I'm just telling you, if he wins a decisive victory, the lawfare goes away because the lawfare is defeated. The persecution goes away because the persecution's been defeated. The threat to not certify, they don't have the votes in the House because the Republicans will keep the House. They'll flip the Senate. There's nothing they can do. By law, Kamala must certify the winner. That's a law the Democrats themselves passed. So, a decisive, big victory tonight. It's like The Godfather. It takes out all of our enemies. As he famously said, tonight I'm settling all family business. Today, we're settling all family business. So that's why I don't want to think 3 weeks down the road. Because it depends, it depends how well we do tonight. We take care of family business, Joe. No one has a problem. Final word to you.
It's so true. There's no place to hide if we don't win. And so God bless you for what you're doing. God bless Donald Trump for saving our country and the world. And God bless America.
God bless you, Joe. And God bless America. Look, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But, it's what kind of a hand are we going to be holding? And we now have the whip hand. That's why the left is panicking. They're worried. They're very, very worried. And they should be. I would be worried too if I were them. And in a way, I got to say, Trump and Elon Musk played this beautifully. Because they got enough lawyers out there, because they got enough drones and surveillance, and they did enough, they're telling every Democrat, if we catch you stealing, you're going to go to jail. Now, the problem is for the Democrats, if they steal and they get caught, they're going to go to jail. But if they don't steal, they're still going to go to jail. Because when Trump wins, they're going to get caught for all their fraud and abuse of power and all the crimes that they've committed. So they've painted themselves into a corner. And I'm telling you, the biggest mistake they made, they should never have picked Kamala Harris. That was pride and hubris of, to me, historic proportions. They can't sell Kamala, period. They got the whole media behind them, all of Hollywood behind them. I was just going through stories last night, and I don't want to bore you with all this, but I mean, it's Oprah Winfrey, worth over $1 billion. Bruce Springsteen, over $1 billion. What is it? I'm running all of these mega stars that they lined up. Beyonce. I could run down Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., all of these, Jennifer Lawrence, whatever, Pink, the singer. It's just one after another. And they're all worth, you see Robert De Niro, worth $500 million. Harrison Ford. I used to like him from Indiana Jones and Star Wars. That washed up hack now came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. He's worth north of $500 million. So she surrounded herself with these Hollywood elites. And they've gone all in for her. They're doing commercials. They're doing videos on social media. They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Trump. She has surrounded herself with millionaires and billionaires. She's out of touch. She has no idea what ordinary working middle class people are going through day after day after day. She's the Marie Antoinette of this election. Let them eat cake with a cackle. And I'm telling you, if they went with another candidate, this could have been a very different election because the steal then would have been plausible. But this, you can't sell Kamala. You just can't. And that's their problem. That's their conundrum. And now they're stuck with her. And I got to say this, the media has lost all credibility. Whatever little they had is now gone. So they have big business behind her. They have all the union leadership behind her. They've got Hollywood behind her. They've got the entire media behind her. They've got the entire Democrat machine behind her. And they're still going to get their clocks cleaned. Where did they find this woman? If you want, I can play you clips. Yesterday, her final campaigns. Okay, her final rallies. She's got Oprah closing for her. Katy Perry closing for her. Lady Gaga closing for her. All these celebrities. And she's still underwater. 821 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer. Okay, there are just literally hundreds and hundreds of names of uber wealthy celebrities who have been in the last 3 or 4 days helping Kamala make her closing pitch. And just a little bit, give you a taste. Oprah Winfrey, estimated net worth, $3 billion. Taylor Swift, estimated net worth, $1.6 billion. Tyler Perry, $1.4 billion. Bruce Springsteen, $1.2 billion. Arnold Schwarzenegger, $1 billion. Beyonce, $800 million. George Clooney, $500 million. Robert De Niro, the guy with the potty mouth, keeps calling Trump a mother effer, $500 million. Barbara Streisand, $460 million. David Letterman, $400 million. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. So from Leonardo DiCaprio to Harrison Ford to Katy Perry to Spike Lee to Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, it could just go on. Jennifer Lawrence. It's just, these clowns that play the Avengers. Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Ben Stiller. It just goes on and on and on. Billie Eilish, Anne Hathaway, Whoopi Goldberg. It just goes on and on and on. Now, Trump got the endorsement that matters because these are out of touch, elitist celebrities. They don't have to worry about the price of groceries or gas or food or energy bills or car insurance. They live in a completely isolated bubble. They are privileged. They're pampered. Frankly, they're greedy. They're corrupt. They're decadent. And they're going to tell us how we should live? They're going to tell us what's in our best interests? Behind their 6 mansions and their private jets and their paid staff and their freak-off parties and their limos and their cocaine and their drugs? They're going to tell us what's best for us and what's in our self-interest? This is who Kamala is surrounding herself with? Let me tell you someone who has a much bigger following than they do. But they listen to him for 3 hours a day. They have a bond with him. They have a connection with him. Especially young people and especially young men. And that's Joe Rogan. He doesn't just fly in on a jet after doing one movie a year and then shows up at some rally. You better pay him by like Beyonce $10 million. They're all paid off to say, vote for him or vote for her. No, people listen to him for hours every day. They talk about culture. They talk about sports. They talk about all sorts of things. Rogan has now officially last night endorsed Donald Trump. That's going to make a big difference today, I'm telling you, because my nephews listen to Joe Rogan. They love him. My son is starting to listen to Joe Rogan. He can't vote, but he loves him. Listen to Joe Rogan saying, you want to know why all these stars are all in for Kamala? It's pretty obvious. This was him in a podcast with Elon Musk just yesterday. Roll cut 14. Mike.
I'm sure if you go to Diddy's house, it probably feels real weird. Probably feels weird walking around that house. Probably like, what the happened here?
Yeah.
I bet there's some memories in that house.
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala, too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Bingo. Jennifer Lopez, one of Kamala Harris's biggest surrogates. They know that if Kamala Harris wins, they all skate. But if Trump wins, they're all going to go to jail. Molesting children, sex with underage girls, pedophilia, God knows what else. My friends, Trump is going to win. 8:31 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. Okay, my friends, today is the day. We are now on the cusp of history. Literally, history. The most, or arguably one of the most important elections in the entire history of our republic, at least since 1860. Everything is now on the line. The future, the destiny of our country. 617-266-6868. Super quick. I'm going to go right back to the blazing phone lines. Getting a lot of reports from people. Pennsylvania, a lot of people in Pennsylvania now are texting the Kuhner man saying there are huge lines in Bucks County, huge lines in Allegheny County, huge lines all over the Pittsburgh area, Philadelphia as well. Turnout is very, very high. Lines as far as the eye can see. People are going to have to wait hours to cast their ballot. In New Hampshire, a lot of Kuhner country people up there. Our forces are very strong. They're saying, Jeff, big lines, bigger than anything they've seen in a very long time. So turnout is massive, absolutely massive. And to me, high turnout means better for Trump. Low turnout helps the Democrats. High turnout helps Trump. 617-266-6868 is the number. Maria in Ludlow. Thanks for holding, Maria, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you today?
Very good, Maria. Excited and a little nervous at the same time.
I am super excited. I have this feeling that has come over me. I cannot explain it. Everything is going to be fabulous. I feel so at ease. Like, I am not nervous. I am on my way. I left work. I'm driving back home to Ludlow, and I have my red high heel shoes, my red lipstick, and my red shirts. I am changing in the car from my scrubs to these clothes so I can go vote. I cannot wait. I am so proud and so excited. I cannot even contain myself. And to boot, yesterday, my daughter in school, such a proud mama moment. They had like this fake election thing going on to teach the kids about voting and to see what a ballot would look like and yada, yada, yada. And so they had the kids fill out whatever. And my daughter came home and she said to me, Mom, they had us, do a fake vote and everything. And I said, really? And how did you do? She did all red. Can I just tell you, my little Portuguese girl, she is so wicked smart. I am so proud. She was telling me things that my mouth was like hitting the floor. Like, she pays attention. My God, there is hope for these young kids that are paying attention. Like, she told me that the whole abortion thing, the founder of that abortion clinic, her goal was to murder all black babies.
That's right. Yeah, Margaret Sanger. Yeah, Margaret Sanger. You're right. She was a eugenicist, and she wanted to depopulate the black population, and that's why she was pushing for abortion.
I was astonished. My daughter knew that. Jeff, I kissed my daughter. I was so proud of her. There is hope. Everybody, get out there, put your red lipstick on, and go vote with pride.
Maria, I want to play a cut, and I want to get your reaction, because you're starting to get some of it now. Not a lot, but some of it. The left is getting very nervous. They're very worried. They can sense now things are not going the way they were told. This is not the script that they believe was going to happen. So there's a social media influencer. I've never heard of this woman, but apparently she's got a following on social media. Her name is Francesca Fiorentini, and she's on the Sun Network. It's a British paper, but she's an American. Okay, so they're interviewing her, and they're saying, well, hey, look, she's very rabidly pro-abortion. She wants abortion all the way up through, including partial birth abortion, all the way up through 9 months, no restrictions, no limits of any kind throughout the entire country. She's rabidly anti-Trump. And so the host says, well, polls look very good for Trump. What are you going to do if Trump wins tonight? Listen to her response. Roll cut 17, Mike.
What happens when Trump wins? What does the Habituation Room podcast do? What does the left of America do? They're never going to accept him. I hope you don't. Don't
we
do
drink
that.
cyanide on air and just podcast into the night.
Don't do that.
No,
don't do that, because you won't be able to come on Never Mind the Ballots again. But what happens?
You know, I think we keep fighting, right?
So you're never going to accept him as a legitimate president, even if he walks in?
Well, I did not say that.
Well, you keep fighting. What are you fighting? You can't fight the result.
What am I fighting? Oh, just relax, woman. Just calm down. Let a big, strong man who wants to take away all of your bodily autonomy rights, any right to an abortion.
So it's abortion. But she goes, well, I'll just drink cyanide and just keep podcasting into the night. Basically, now she said it tongue in cheek, you know, a little bit with a smirk on her face. But basically, I mean, this went everywhere. So it's like, well, yeah, I'll commit suicide. You know, I'll take some cyanide and talk until I just collapse. Now, again, it was partially tongue in cheek, but already now you're getting a lot of this from many people on the left. They're already reserving seats, they say, to leave the country. They're not going to stay if Trump wins. They're going to kill themselves. They're going to commit suicide. They're going to ingest cyanide like this person. What say you, Maria?
Obviously, they're all crazy, but call me if you need an Uber to the airport. I will take you there for free. No problem, no questions asked. For free. Pro bono, all the way. As many rides as necessary. I will even throw in the gas for free. You want to leave the country? I will hold your hand through it. I will take you right to Terminal E at Logan Airport. No problem.
Maria, God bless you. And happy election day. God bless you, Maria. Bruce in Woburn. Thanks for holding, Bruce, and welcome. That should be that leftist there that wants to take cyanide if Trump wins tonight. That should be for her, Bruce. You want to talk about a howling moonbat, Bruce? Ay. So now they're threatening to kill themselves if this guy wins.
About my day, I woke up to watching Donald Trump in Michigan. And then I had to go to work this morning. I drove my boss to the polls, and then I drove myself to my polling area. And who was I standing next to? The chief of police from Woburn, Chief Rufo. And I said to him, defund nothing. I'm really sick, Jeff, over this. And I got a problem with you. What's with you with this if? Are you iffy? There's no if, Jeff, in this. He's gonna send it. And if he doesn't, I feel really bad for the police and the military and everybody in this country that's our people. Because they just want to. These are communists. And that's my whole thing, Jeff.
Oh, Bruce, I agree with you. Look, he's going to crush it. I think there's no question. No, if you're sensing, it's not that I doubt my own prediction. No, Bruce, look, my fear, this is my nightmare. And I don't want to really talk about it today, only because this is a joyous day. I believe this is our victory day. I really do. But look, this is what's a little bit in the pit of my stomach. It's obvious now. Okay, let's put our cards on the table, as the Germans would say. He's way ahead in the polls, in the real polls. He's going to win. He should win in a massive landslide. This thing is not even close. You know it. I know it. The American people know it. Everybody knows it. My fear is that the Democrats are going to try to steal it. And on election night, by hook or by crook, through something we haven't seen or planned for, they somehow steal enough of these battleground states and install her as president. And I truly fear for the future of the country. So my if is not that I have any doubts in Trump or the legitimacy of his victory. My only if is, will the gangsters, will the criminals, this cabal that controls and runs the Democratic machine, are they going to be able to pull off what would clearly be the most brazen, obvious, biggest election fraud theft in the history of the world? That's what it would take for them to do this. And then how will the country react? And that's why I'm a little worried. That's why there's, as I said, in the pit of my stomach, I feel a little bit uneasy, because that's the one thing I don't want to see happen. And that's why I'm hoping, praying, that we make it just too big to rig, that we swamp the polls today in record numbers, and we end this thing. Victory Day, my friends, God willing. Victory Day, 8:49 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer, 617-266-6868 is the number. You can also text us 70470, 70470. Okay, very quickly. It is the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Mario's. Mario's quality roofing, siding, and windows. They're some of the best in the business. No, in fact, they are the best in the business. So again, Mario's quality roofing, siding, and windows. And I'm not going to do who do you think will win, Trump or Kamala. It's too predictable a question. I think it's obvious. If it's anywhere close to an honest, free, and fair election, Trump wins, and Trump wins running away. I think there's no question. So I want to ask you a slightly different question. What do you think the ultimate result will be? A very close election. I'm not asking you to pick whether it's Trump or Kamala. Okay, just do you think the election will be close, a squeaker, a nail biter? In other words, razor thin one side, razor thin the other side. Or B, a landslide. Either a landslide for Trump or a landslide for Kamala. Now, you know where I stand. I think on the popular vote, Trump's going to win by about a percentage point, give or take. And I think in the Electoral College, as I made my prediction in my opening monologue, it's going to be 300. I think he's taken Arizona, he's taken Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, they're in big trouble. Kamala's campaign in private are very worried about Wisconsin. The wheels are coming off for them in Wisconsin. I'll give Kamala Michigan. And what I mean by win is I think the corrupt Detroit machine with their 3:00 in the morning, boarding up the windows and bringing in, suitcases of votes, of ballots, as they did in 2020, she'll quote unquote win Michigan. Eke it out, barely. Now, I have to say this. The whole media, I've been monitoring this the whole morning. They keep talking about 7 battleground states. Arizona, Nevada, as I just talked about, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I am telling you, for the life of me, they're making a big mistake. It's not 7, it's 8. The 8th battleground state that is a pure toss-up is New Hampshire. And I'm telling you, New Hampshire can shock the country tonight. Because I'm predicting that Trump wins New Hampshire and the total Electoral College will be 301 votes. So he's going to get 301, 300 just to simplify. And he pretty much runs the table. 7 out of 8 of the battleground states. I will give her Michigan, and that's it. So I'm predicting B, a landslide, an Electoral College landslide for Trump. But I want to hear from you. Do you think it's going to be A, very close, razor close, or B, a landslide either way? I am predicting a landslide for Trump, so I'm going with B, but I want to hear from you, Kuhner Country. You can vote on our webpage, WRKO.com/Kuhner, WRKO.com/Kuhner, KUHN is in National ER. You can also vote via X. Again, I made my prediction on X last night, and I'm very active. You can follow me and vote as well. My handle is @the Kuhner Report, all one word, Kuhn as in national ER, at the Kuhner Report. Here is just a taste of liberal panic. It's panic. So this was a few days ago at a cafe in Alexandria, which is in Northern Virginia. I know it very well because I used to live near there when I was at the Washington Times. A black Trump woman, a black woman who's a Trump supporter, was sitting down at a table with her friends, sipping coffee, having a croissant or a muffin or whatever. And one of her friends, right in front of her, had a Trump cap. Opposite of them, in another table, was a woman. Now, it turns out, because she kind of doxed herself on social media, it turns out she's a Democrat activist and someone who used to work in the Defense Department and the State Department. So she's basically, she's a Mandarin, as the Chinese would say, a bureaucrat within the deep state. So her name is Patty Morrissey. Patty Morrissey looks to me in her 50s, 60s, an angry, white, liberal Democrat. Well, the moment she sees a group of black female Trump supporters, one of them with a cap on, she goes absolutely nuts. Now, I want to stress to you that this poor woman, Annette Catchings is her name. That's the black woman's name. Was, I'm telling you, talking to her friends, minding her own business. In fact, they were mocking Liz Cheney and how she was going after Trump and criticizing Trump. And they're saying she's committing professional suicide and she's making a fool of herself. And this white liberal woman overhears her and then sees the Trump cap on one of them and just goes, I mean, you want to talk about a meltdown. She goes absolutely, she starts screaming at the black Trump woman, Annette Catchings. Listen to this. This was at a restaurant, a cafe in Northern Virginia. Roll cut 19, Mike.
So I don't really like it. So I called it right. Am I a liberal? Do I disagree? Are you a Democrat? Yes, I am. Okay. So the only people, so the only people ever challenge. Why did you do so social conversation? Just people ever advocated women. Listen, I'm a force. It means that you understand what someone is saying. Okay. I think we felon is a sex offender and accused of espionage, indicted for espionage. Like I said, the only people who ever challenge me are white Democrat women. I am a 35-year national national security expert.
Oh, you're so smart.
Who you are? Okay,
Everybody
can
believe in what they want to believe.
No,
Thank you.
Will you tell her we were having a private conversation before she came over in my face saying, "Am I serious?"
So the white liberal Democrat, that female, the crazy, the feminist, the crazy moonbat, okay? She's getting up and saying, how dare you vote for Trump? He's a rapist. He's a rapist. You don't know who you're voting for. He's a Nazi. He's a criminal. He's a rapist. So one of them turns back and says, yeah, well, Joe Biden's a pedophile. And then the black woman says, it was hilarious. The black woman says, why is it always white Democratic women that always end up screaming in my face? And then that woman, she goes really nuts. And she says, I've got 35 years national security expertise. And like, so what? Who cares? What does that give you the right to interrupt their conversation and start yelling and screaming at them? And then, of course, the black woman, I don't blame her. The manager comes out and he says, okay, everybody calm down. Everybody, like everybody's to blame. Just everybody calm down. And she's completely right. Annette Catchings is completely correct. I'm with Annette. She gets up and she says, hey, we were having coffee, munching on our croissant, having a private conversation. We didn't bother her. She starts yelling at us. She gets in our face, as she put it, in our business, and says, don't tell me I'm equal to her, that I'm somehow equal to blame. don't, act like a mediator and act like somehow, I'm the guilty one. You talk to her, the white Democrat woman, and tell her, shut up, sit down, calm down, mind your own business. Now, the point is this. They're freaking out now at cafes. The sight of a Trump button sets them off. The sight of a Trump baseball cap sets them off. That's the attitude of a loser. That's the behavior of people who deep down now realize her candidate is going down. And if this is their reaction now, how do you think they're going to behave tonight or tomorrow? When, God willing, fingers crossed, Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. They're going to have, I can't tell you how many liberals are going to have serious mental health issues. I mean, if you're a psychiatrist, get ready to make the most money you've ever made in your career. Because you think the lines are long now to vote. The lines out of your office to get treatment after Trump wins from these crazy moonbats, they're going to keep you in business for 10 years. Maureen in Abington. Thanks for holding, Maureen, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeffrey. This is your red, white, and blue piece of trash waiting to go to the poll with my garbage bag on. I am waiting. It's like, dear God Almighty, if there is a God, and I believe there is, we are returning to normalcy.
Maureen, are you shocked that Kamala supporters are now just, yelling, shouting, screaming, berating Trump supporters in cafes, that they're just now, they're losing their minds? They're having actual breakdowns in restaurants and in public. Are you surprised at that, Maureen?
Someone come in my face. I am a Braintree letter carrier who called you last week regarding them providing the interpreters to these idiots.
Yes.
These idiots, okay? He's got to be our next president. He should have been already, but they stole it. There's a God up in heaven above, and he's coming back to us.
Amen. Maureen, honestly, that's why I'm so supremely confident. I really believe the hand of God has been driving Trump, protecting Trump, and I think tonight he will render his verdict, God willing. Maureen, thank you very, very much for that call. Tonight will be his judgment. And so we all got to do our part. Please go and vote. If we all vote, we can save our country. It's really that easy. Jerry on the Cape. Thanks for holding, Jerry, and welcome.
Jeff, good morning.
Comrade, how are you?
Jeff, brother in garbage, I'm doing great. Jeff, let me tell you something. They're paying these moonbats to put the Harris Wall signs on their lawns, They're paying people. Jeff, 2 weeks down here on the Cape, I don't get mail delivery because I live in a village. It's considered a village. And I went to go to the post office to pick up my mail a couple weeks ago. There was this ding-dong moonbat with these flyers, asking people to vote. He was stumping for people. He got in front of me. He tried to, block me from getting in. And I just bulled my way right by him, and he got all crybaby-ish and stuff. The guy was 15 years younger than me. I thought he was going to cry. These people are nuts, Jeff. I'm telling you right now, they're going to go off the deep end. They're going to start approaching people, asking people who they voted for. That's how much of a rage they're going to be in. Jeff, I'm serious.
No, I hear you. It's just funny the way you phrase it. Jerry, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but say Trump delivers an early knockout. Okay, he just starts running the table, and it's just too much. It's a tidal wave. It's the wave that everybody was waiting for in 2022, but now materializes. Do you think we're going to see riots tonight? You think the left is just going to go absolutely berserk and start rioting and looting and burning? Or do you think you're just going to see them yell and scream and throw a massive temper tantrum?
Both. I I think you're going to see what you saw in 2016, and I think they're going to burn some of the big cities to the ground. Why do you think the governor of Washington State already called out the National Guard? They know it's going to be bad, Jeff. But, Jeff, you know how I know it's going to be bad? I don't know if you've watched any of the videos, any of the stumps for Kamala Harris, but the dear leader looks really nervous. You can see it in his eyes and in his body language. I don't know if you picked up on that. Did you pick up on that, Jeff?
I did. Biden looks nervous. Obama, the dear leader, looks nervous. Michelle Obama, she delivered a nasty, vicious speech against Trump last night. I mean, she's white as a ghost. She looks nervous. You can see the Democratic machine. Jim Messina, one of Obama's top henchmen, said that she's going to lose. He came out yesterday, said he is very nervous. The early voting is crushing them. They don't think they can make up the difference. And he's one of Obama's top guys. And he said his words, not mine, I would be shocked if Kamala wins. So you've got people now around the dear leader saying this is the Titanic and Harris is going down.
Do you know who John Hears is? He's a documentary filmmaker. He made a movie called Christianities, and he interviewed Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson said that he was attacked in his sleep by an entity. He had claw marks and blood all over him. His wife and his dog slept through the whole thing. So evil is manifesting itself everywhere, Jeff, and this comes down to good and evil, and they're attacking anybody that goes against them. And they hate Tucker Carlson now, as you know.
Well, and I'm worried about Tucker because I think if Trump loses, which I don't think he will, but if Trump loses, I think Tucker's days are numbered. I think they're going to go after him. I think they're going to put him behind bars. I think they're going to go after top people in the media. Frankly, I'm very worried about myself and my family. I think there's no question. There is going to be a massive crackdown by the regime. And you're right, Jerry. This to me is ultimately a moral, spiritual battle between good and evil and ultimately between Satan and God. And I think tonight, God willing, I think the good Lord's going to render his judgment. And I'm hoping for a decisive victory so that we can take this great country of ours back. Jerry, you're a great prognosticator. You love to handicap these races. You've been following politics for decades. I know you're worried about a Democrat steal. I am as well. How do you see the race tonight? How do you see the election result? Does Trump win or does Kamala steal it?
To see what happened last time in 2020 where Trump was ahead. But I think I still believe in the hand of God, Jeff, like I did in 2016 when I called you the day after the election. I believe that the hand of God is going to overcome the hand of Satan.
Amen. Amen. I couldn't have. Great way to end the call, Jerry. Seriously, drop the mic. The hand of God will triumph over the hand of Satan. Couldn't have said it better myself. Amanda in Danvers. Thanks for holding, Amanda, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Amanda, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. I started my day off on a great note, voting for Trump. It is my second election. I'm 24 years old, and I actually called you in 2020 to celebrate after I voted Trump the first time.
So, Amanda, tell me, what did you, when you were waiting, was it a long line? What did you experience when you voted today? Does turnout seem heavy, at least in your neck of the woods?
Went in pretty early, and there was a really good group of people already there. And the funny thing that happened is, caffeine hadn't really kicked in yet. I went with my parents, and I gave the guy my name, and he said, "You already voted." No, I didn't already vote. I didn't mail in. I'm here in person. It's because the caffeine hadn't kicked in, and my mom accidentally said my name.
So you were thinking, oh, no, there's going to be some political shenanigans going on, but it was just an innocent mistake from your mom.
It wasn't going to be going the way I wanted it to go.
Amanda, what does your gut tell you? What do your instincts tell you? Are you Are you optimistic? Do you think we're going to have a great victory night tonight?
I'm very optimistic. I'm keeping the faith. This country needs this. My family needs this, and I think we got this one.
From your lips to God's ears. Amanda, thank you. Congratulations on voting, your second time voting. And you know what? I'd love to hear from you tomorrow. I want to hear from all of you. Amanda, we'll have a great day to celebrate tomorrow. Amanda, thank you and God bless. Dan in Plymouth, thanks for holding, Dan, and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. This is Nurse Dan for the 9th Congressional District.
Buddy, I hope everybody votes for you today. Do me a favor. Give everybody your full name and let everybody know the congressional district that you're in. Please.
Sure. It's Dan Sullivan, the 9th Congressional District, which encompasses the South Shore, the South Coast, Cape Cod, and the islands. Jeff, this election is not about people. It's not about personalities, and it's not about parties. It should be about policy. And my advice to anybody who's thinking of not going to the polls today, do not let perfect be the enemy of good. 50% of something, Jeff, is better than 100% of nothing.
Oh, I'm with you. Oh, Dan, and I think with Trump, we're getting a hell of a lot more than 50%. You know what I mean, Dan? But no, look, Dan, what I'm urging everybody to do is vote Trump, vote Republican all the way down ballot, and especially if you live in the 9th Congressional District. And as Dan pointed out, the South Shore, Cape Cod, the islands, vote Dan Sullivan. He's a solid, patriotic, conservative Republican. Now, yes, the guy works so freaking hard. He's a nurse. He's one of us. He's a hardworking guy who understands our pain, our tribulations, our needs, our values, our interests. And he's also been campaigning like a demon, breaking his back, that when he calls the Kuhner report, he falls asleep as he's waiting to get on the show. So his nickname is Sleepy Dan. But he's not going to be asleep for you when he's in Washington, D.C. Okay, believe me, he's going to be caffeinated, wide awake Dan. So please vote for Sleepy Dan Sullivan. If I was in his district, I would vote for him all the way. Dan, what is your prediction, my friend? How do you feel about your race? How do you feel about the Trump-Kamala Harris race?
Look, I have a tall task, Jeff. I have no illusions or delusions. I have a sense, a vibe very similar to 2016.
I hear you. Dan, a lot of people are telling me that. It doesn't feel like 2020. It does feel like 2016. All the energy, all the passion, all the momentum. It's all on our side, baby. Go, Trump, go. 921 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, listen now to President Trump. He was really pounding the pulpit yesterday in Reading, Pennsylvania, speaking now, almost bearing his soul to Trump supporters, to his at one of his biggest rallies yet. This was in Reading, PA. He hit Pennsylvania hard, both in Pittsburgh and Reading. He finished in Michigan, which was his final rally, the final rally of his entire campaign. Listen now to Trump saying the Democrats have always had a massive advantage in early voting. They don't have it now. We have the lead. We're leading in every poll. We're leading in all early voting. This is now our election to lose. The fate of our country is now your hands. Roll cut 5A, Mike.
You know, we have a massive lead. I don't even like telling you that, to be honest with you. We have a massive lead. First time ever, a Republican was leading by a lot in early vote. It didn't happen. The Republicans would always be way behind. They believe in going on election day, so we're going to let you go on election day, right? But they waited till the end always. Democrats would always have hundreds of thousands of votes, and then you either catch them or you don't. You never know what's going to happen. But Republicans have never been in the lead, and not like this. It's a big number. So we have to just get at, the ball is in our hand. We're at the 2-yard line, maybe the 1-yard line, but it's in our hand, and we put it over that. It'll be the biggest event maybe in the history of our country. And let me tell you, it will be also something much more important than that. It's going to save our country, because our country is in trouble.
Amen. Amen. Look, this now is in our hands. If we all vote, every single one of us, if Trump supporters just go out and vote, it's over. It's too big to rig. We will swamp the polls. They will not be able to steal it. Or if they do steal it, it'll be an obvious steal. You're going to have more people voting than are possibly able to vote. So the regime will then be in massive crisis. So what I'm saying is, and this is what Trump is saying to everybody, look, the ball's not in their hands. The ball's in our hands. They don't control our future. We control our own future. And all we got to do now is go out, and I don't care if you got to wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it doesn't matter. Go and vote. 617-266-6868. Mags in the great state of New Hampshire. Thanks for holding, Mags, and welcome.
Jeff, as always, God bless you, Sandy and Mike. God bless our great President Trump. Jeff, I wasn't going to be able to go to vote this morning at 8 o'clock because I had an appointment. My appointment got canceled. So at 7:45, I went down to the school in Hampstead, New Hampshire, where I vote. Jeff, the line was around the building and people were piling in there. It was so awesome. My heart started beating so fast, and I said, Trump, this is your time once again, and God is on your side. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't wait. I'll go back this afternoon with my Jeep with all the Trump stuff on it. But I had to tell you how excited I was when I saw the crowds of people in Hampstead, New Hampshire to vote.
Mags, that's what I'm saying. The turnout now is so big, so huge. It's a surge at the polls. Because remember, Democrats often vote early or mail-in ballot. We're the ones who show up at the polls on voting day. So that's what I mean when I said low turnout, I'm nervous. High turnout. I'm ecstatic. Mags, I want to ask you, in all honesty, I know you're Trump all the way like me. I believe New Hampshire is going to pull off a political miracle. No one is calling New Hampshire a battleground state. I've been saying it for months. It is a battleground. Will Trump shock the world and win New Hampshire tonight? Because if he wins New Hampshire tonight, he wins the election tonight. What say you?
So I have a theory about New Hampshire, okay? And I think that, honestly, they stole it in 2020, okay? Because even though I know loser Sununu, was against Trump, I think now loser Sununu is for Kelly Ayotte. And I have a very strong feeling that if he cheated, it would be for Trump this time. So I'm going to call Trump for New Hampshire, and I'm going to say Trump is going to take New Hampshire with a landslide. And
oh, God bless you, Mags. I'll take 50.1. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love a landslide. All I want is 50 plus 1 in New Hampshire. 9:32 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's Bulldozer. 617-266-6868 is the number. Okay, you can text us at 70470. 70470. This is a beauty from 617. Jeff, no amount of hating Trump will make Kamala qualified. That is so true. That is so true. Okay, so you want a quick laugh? I'm going to go right back to the phone lines, but you got to hear this. So in Shrewsbury, okay, right here in Massachusetts, but also in California and other parts around the country. I don't know who is behind this, but whoever is, you're a genius. I'm telling you, you're a genius. You're Einstein-level genius. So what they did was they sent letters, and it seemed official, like from the Kamala Harris campaign, to the homes of Kamala Harris supporters, those with the Harris Waltz signs on their yard. And it said, thank you so much for being a supporter of Kamala Harris. And because you support our open borders and pro-migrant policy, we would just like to inform you that you have been selected to be a sanctuary residence, quote unquote.
We got some guys that they don't have papers. You're in support of like the whole border situation. They don't have a place to stay. They just came across. They came over illegally. We need a home. Yeah. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
My name is Hector, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, they're kind of looking for a home. It'd be greatly appreciated. They'll sleep on floors. I mean, they're not picky,
We have like a 2-year-old, so
Hector's good with kids.
Sorry, we just can't.
Would you be willing to open your door?
Is this your truck right here? We could probably put a couple in the back, and then maybe...
Let me let you meet them first.
No.
Excuse me. Come on, guys.
They're really nice people.
My teenagers live with me.
Oh, that's fine. Hector, he was dating a teenager like a little bit ago, so
Okay.
we need a home.
I don't know.
You have one.
I live with a lot of people in my house.
Oh, that's fine. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Could you translate and tell them she said yes?
Si. It would just be till the end of the election.
Yeah. Just to...
Can't because of my personal situation. Sorry, guys.
Now, this was comedian Seth Meyering, and this was a YouTube video that he put out, but along with these letters. And, of course, they turned them all down. Every Kamala supporter turned them all. Not one Kamala supporter took in the illegals. I mean, it was in Shrewsbury here in Mass. The Moonbats here wouldn't take them. The Moonbats in California wouldn't take them. The Moonbats in New York State wouldn't take them. The Moonbats in Illinois wouldn't take them. Huh? Yeah, we should try this bill in Sudbury. Hey, Billy boy, you're such a big supporter of open borders and bringing in all the migrants into Massachusetts. Hey, open up your house, Bill. And he'll be just like them. No, I don't have space. My daughter still lives with me. Well, you don't mind when you fought him into our area, into our community, when you took that rec center from those poor people and those poor blacks and African Americans in Dorchester. You guys had no problem then. You phony, you frauds, you. So they got all these letters saying congratulations, and they would say that we got a family of 2 from Nicaragua, and you've won. Congratulations, you now can sponsor them, and they can live in your sanctuary residence. And do you know what every single Kamala supporter did with their Harris Waltz sign yard signs? Here's what they did. They tore up those letters. You see. They want them in our community, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, but not in theirs. Janet, and by the way, that's why Trump's going to win. Because deep down, they're a bunch of hypocrites and frauds. Janet in Medford. Thanks for holding, Janet, and welcome.
Hi, Jeff.
Janet.
Hi, I'm from Watertown, but that's all right. I have to just tell you, I love you in a non-sexual way. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome, Janet.
Thank you, honey. And I just have to tell you, for the first time yesterday, my husband and I voted early. We're very, very calm at this moment. Yesterday was amazing. There was a program on at 6:00 last night called The Great American Prayer, and every single state there were people praying, and it ran till like 11 o'clock at night. And there were people from every single state that prayed, and that lifted me up so much to know all across the country how people are feeling like we're feeling. And it was amazing. And the other thing that happened in Cambridge, in Commie Cambridge, Star Market, my husband was in there with his MAGA hat, and an African-American woman approached him and thanked him and told him she loved his hat. And then again, it happened in the post office. another African American woman congratulated him and told him she loved his hat. So those two signs yesterday were like, okay, we got this. We're good.
Janet, that's what a lot of people are saying all across the country. And I'll tell you why that African-American woman thanked your husband. Because I bet you that poor woman can barely make ends meet. I bet she can barely put food on the table, afford rent, pay electricity, pay her insurance. She's living hand to mouth. And they realize how much better life was for all of them under Trump. And, basically what they're saying is, thank you for not being afraid. Thank you for standing up to the cancel culture mob and to these left-wing thugs who want to call us Nazis and racists and fascists because we just want to have low inflation and an economy that works for all of us. So, Janet, I'm just like you. I am supremely confident. And I know that if Kuhner Country does what everybody says they're going to do, which is to go vote, we are going to win New Hampshire and we are going to win this election. And tomorrow will be a new day and a new dawn for America. Janet, God bless you and God bless your husband. 617-266-6868. Look, everybody, please stop what you're doing. Okay? Please. Just for 30 seconds. No matter what you're doing, you got to hear this. This is from 508. You can text us 70470, 70470. This is from 508. And on election day, this is all you need to know. I'm telling you, this is all you need to know. Democrats killed a bill, listen to this, for tuition assistance for children of veterans killed in battle, and then approved giving illegals free tuition. Let me repeat that. Democrats in Congress, encouraged by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, killed a bill for tuition assistance for the children of veterans killed in battle, and then turned around and approved giving illegal aliens free tuition. Blank you. On election day, this is all you need to know. That's the difference between Kamala and Trump. That's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. That's the difference between the globalists and us. We put our people, our children, and especially the children of dead veterans first. Leah in Gloucester. Thanks for holding, Leah, and welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you so much for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I took a few notes because there were a few things that I wanted to say to you. But first of all, I'm a registered independent and I'm voting for Trump. And I'm a survivor of Trump derangement syndrome. So, and my daughter is as well. And we're worried about our constitutional rights and corruption. I mean, government has always been supposedly corrupt, but this is a new level. And it's scary. So we're coming out, we're voting. Actually, I did early voting on Friday. It was a really long line. And optimistic he's going to win because we turned the page. I think the only way he doesn't win is if it's stolen. And I don't know how that's able to be prevented. I've been asking that question.
Leah, if you don't mind me asking, Leah, this is to me one of the most fascinating calls I've ever received, and I can't thank you enough for calling. So you were a former, opponent of Trump. You didn't vote for Trump. You were not a supporter of Trump, as you put it. You had Trump derangement syndrome. What changed your mind? What broke the spell of TDS on you?
First of all, living through his administration. I have a small business.
Okay, Leah, can you please hang on? I'm up against a hard break. Mike, I got to tell you, man, you really know how to put the knife in me. I'm just saying, I want to give you a compliment, Mike. One of the most riveting phone calls, and he's giving me a hard break. Okay, please hang on, Leah. Are you screwing around, Mike, or what are you yanking my chain, or are you serious? Hold on, we're on the air now? 9:50 on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. Okay, before I want to get back to Leah and Gloucester. Leah, please be very patient with me. I've got some very important information to convey to everybody. So, Dave, our Western Pennsylvania correspondent, just called into the line, spoke to Sandy, and also messaged me on Messenger. His wonderful wife is a poll worker today in the Pittsburgh area. Now, remember, Pittsburgh is going to be crucial. Trump wins the Pittsburgh suburbs. It's over. He wins Pennsylvania. It's done. They are now reporting, this is what Dave is telling us, that the line is so big, it's going around the church. I mean, it's going out, and it just keeps going and going and going until all the way down the street and to the back of the church. As he puts it, Trumpomania is running wild, brother. So, if this is any indication, holy shamoly, oh God, please let it be true. Pennsylvania is starting to look really good for Trump. Okay. I don't know if Mike is playing with me now or with me and Sandy. I don't know if this is, he's 26 years old and he likes to be a bit of a wise guy and a smart aleck. But now Mike is telling me that in his neck of the woods, there's long lines as well because he's in New Hampshire. So now he's telling me, Jeff, I don't want to wait an hour and a half in line. It's not worth it. Now, Sandy's really upset. Sandy says, listen, Mike, bring your freaking phone, your iPhone with earbuds, listen to music, watch TV on that thing, YouTube, whatever. Look, do what you got to do, but you're going to sit in that line, entertain yourself, and vote. And by the way, Sandy wants me to relay to all of you, expect long lines, bring that phone with you, whatever it is, earbuds, I don't care what you watch, what music you listen to, just don't use boredom as an excuse not to vote. So Mike, I don't know if you're messing with me or not, but this is not funny, Mike. Okay, some things are not funny. Okay, let's go right back to Leah in Gloucester. Leah, you were a former opponent of Trump. You didn't vote for him. You were not a supporter of Trump. In fact, as you said, you really couldn't stand him. You suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. Your words. But then something broke that spell. And you said it was during his first term. You're a small business owner. And then Mike, being Mike, cut us off. So please pick up where you left off, Leah.
Yes, so we were doing well under his administration. And then another reason why I'm all for Trump is because she wants to defund the police, import criminals, and take away guns. And that doesn't make me feel very safe or safe for my children. It's scary, and it's all for political gain, clearly. So it's selfish and it's corrupt and disgusting.
Now, Leah, was there a certain year or event or incident? Was it something in particular that something just snapped and you said, you know what? It's like you want to look at Trump from a different lens or prism. Was it just bit by bit, cumulative over time? Or was there one stark incident or event that almost kind of shook you out of your TDS?
I voted for him in 2020 because for selfish reasons. But then after he got shot at, I was like, what? First of all, they couldn't take you down within their justice system. Now they're going to have you shot at? I'm sorry. I truly believe it. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I am. But they're all coming true. All the things my crazy right-wing friends and family were saying to me that I was arguing with them about, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they're all coming true. They're all being proven.
Leah, I want to say this really from the bottom of my heart. We embrace you. We welcome you. You're part of the Kuhner country family. And I really mean that. You are an equal full member of the Kuhner country family. And I truly want to thank you for embracing and supporting and voting for Trump. It takes a tremendous character and courage to change your previous views, to say you were wrong, to admit you were wrong, and then to correct your ways. And I really want to tip my hat off to you. Leah, God bless you and God bless your family. Thank you so much. All right, Tobias in Fitchburg, you're the last caller. 1 minute left. Make it count. Go.
Hey, Jeff. Tobias here. I'm a 22-year-old voter. It's good to get on the show for the first time. So I wanted to bring the conversation back to the liberals going into the big psychiatrist lines.
Yes.
Because, they're mad because we're leading in early voting, as you said. We're leading in the swing states. We might even flip the Senate this time, and Donald Trump might even be able to get some stuff done. And when he wins Georgia, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and we're all asleep at midnight, it's going to be even worse.
Oh, Tobias, what a way to end the show. For 22 years old, Tobias, I got to tell you, man, you've got a really good head on your shoulder. Tobias, please don't be a stranger. Call again, okay? And I promise you'll be on for much longer. You heard it from Tobias. Tonight, Trump wins. Bye-bye.